Hello again, everyone. Welcome to another episode of RVBusiness Capital Talk, sponsored by Dicor Products. I'm Rick Kessler. With me, as always, Sherm Goldenberg. And joining the two of us today are several gentlemen fresh off the Route 66 rally in San Antonio, Texas. And that would be Rob Merrill, Steve Francis. Steve, of course, also was with Trailside RV Center in Missouri. We also have, and I'm using my notes here, Scott Silva from Cold Springs RV in New Hampshire, Mick Ferkey, Greeneway RV in Wisconsin, and Kevin Campbell, Campbell RV in Florida. Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us.
Pleasure to be here. Good to be here.
Let's start with the rally. It was just last week, October 5 through 7. From what I read, great representation and then just a tremendous positive vibe that was going on. Rob?
Yeah, I'd have to agree. The attendance was great from both a dealer and a partner perspective. Probably the first real no strings to COVID attached type of in-person gathering. It was great to be together. I'll let these guys tell you whether they thought it was productive or not. But from our perspective as Route 66 management, it was just great to see our dealers out. They're coming off of a sugar high, as you mentioned in your RVBusiness article this morning. And I think we're all getting ready for some headwinds and maybe doing some things that are going to be really good for the network and the dealers in the long run.
Maybe let's address some of those headwinds, some of those challenges. Nothing we haven't seen before, but what was everybody's take on how we're going to get through it this time?
Anybody? Headwinds are just obvious. Everybody that's watching this this video knows what the headwinds are. I mean, it's you've had a kind of a boom bust cycle, and with gas prices and inflation and interest rates, and not just that, but just uncertainty in the marketplace with all of the consolidation that's been going on in the industry. There's a lot of haves, there's a lot of have-nots. So I mean, everybody kind of understands, and kind of maybe if they're not realizing it yet, has a sense that so we could have some challenges ahead of us.
In light of that, was your rally particularly, it sounds like to me, well-timed?
Yeah, I think so. I think, the Route 66 RV network is really built for times like this. When everybody's just killing it, everybody's fat and happy, everybody's getting great margins and high volume. It's, they don't really need much more. But when things are tough, when there's a little bit of headwind, when there's some disruption in the marketplace, that's the time that groups like the Route 66 RV network is at its best.
Steve, this is Mick from Greenways. I'll back that up 100%. Going to this rally, I look forward to networking with a group of probably the best group of RV dealers in the industry. And it's so much, you feel so much more comfortable having a network of a group of hundreds of people to back you and explain what they've went through and the programs that Route 66 puts out there for us. If it wasn't for the things that they give us, the tools they give us, it gives us the tools to sell more units, and then everybody, the network's happy, we're happy, and it's just a big family, and it's very comforting.
Also now
one of the things, if I might, one of the things that I found very helpful early on was in meeting with Rob and looking at the network, because we started this probably a year and a half before we connected, and we were in the throes of COVID at that time and very busy. But I would confirm for us this last week, and I had my wife, who is also owner and business partner, with me at the meeting with me, and she got a broader picture of what the entire group of dealers is about. And I find a group of like-minded people with similar core values and those who I could communicate with and learn from. There's a lot of wisdom in the room. There's guys older, I know I'm old, but there's guys older than me in the room with more experience. And it was great to get some feedback, even just on the storm that we're processing down here in Florida. I spoke with 3 or 4 dealers from Texas and Alabama and Louisiana who gave me some great insight and some great wisdom, trying to weigh what we're about to deal with the headwinds that Steve was referring to a minute ago.
Well, Kevin, let's talk about the Hurricane Ian. How did your dealership fare?
So we're very blessed. We were right on the edge. Sarasota County, south of us, about 20 miles, got the damage is pretty, starts to get severe. Our home was about 20 minutes from the center of the eye. The store fared very well. We had minor damage. We put the jacks down on most of the on all the trailers. The lightweight trailers we were concerned about. So we feel like we sacrificed some stab jacks on trailers, and our insurer, who happens to be affiliated with the network, was very happy to hear that we don't plan to file a claim. So we had minor damage. We're very blessed.
Wait, let me insert a question. What, beyond what we've already talked about, what were your number one takeaways from this event, either, in the formal sessions or in the corridors, just talking?
Yeah, so my takeaway was that when I left the meeting, I brought my finance manager with me as well. And we both sat down after on the way to the airport and said, there's so much stuff that Route 66 offers that we just don't do. And when you start adding up, the big ones, we all know the big ones, the insurance and, the F&I products. When you start looking at little things and you save a few thousand here and a few thousand here and make an extra couple, it adds up. And this is a time where we all need to just buckle down and be ready, because I'm not saying that doom's, it's going to be gloom and doom, but it is certainly going to change, and we're used to this past 2 years of just sell everything you get and making money in spite of ourselves. And now we got to get back to basics.
Well, I was going to say a lot of what he just said. It was more refresher course for us. There's so many things that Route 66 offers us that we need to really, really study and buckle down. And, a lot of these things are going to help us through this tailwind here. The programs that they offer are just unbelievable, and they have the dealer in mind, and they've always helped the dealer. If you have a problem or some advice you need, or just recently we had an F&I person that we're interviewing, and the only time he could take the interview through Route 66, which was helping us with the interview, was on a Sunday. And they stepped up and they interviewed this guy on a Sunday and gave us a green light to hire him. And I cannot tell you how much I appreciate being a member of the Route 66 network.
What's your sense of the retail consumer right now, given all the factors that we're all aware of? What's your sense?
I think right now there's a bit of there's somewhat tentative. I think everybody's kind of waiting maybe for the midterms, and there's some things in flux with the Fed raising rates and pivoting on their rate escalation campaign as it relates to the stock market. For the most part, we haven't seen too much a difference. We're back down to basically 2019 levels. When you look at the 85 or 90 websites that we run at Ride Digital, we've seen our activity on the web about 10%, about 12% over 2019 levels. And obviously we had a huge bump in 2020 and 2021. So this year's down a little bit, but well above 2019. So I think there's some, there's a tentative market. I think there's a little bit of wait and see. So we'll see what happens. I'm glad, for that matter, that we're going into the winter and we're feeling a little tentative. I wouldn't want to be going into March, April, or May in the show selling season with that reticence in the market.
I think
But
it's,
Steve,
Go ahead.
2019 wasn't a bad year either.
That's
No.
what I was thinking. Yeah. Yeah. Not a worst case scenario.
So we're just going to take a little bit of a winter nap and then let's get going in the spring.
I think so. One of the things that we, look at pretty closely is I own an RV park and know a lot of RV park operators, and they're covered up. And when you look at what the search terms are that people are looking and they're searching for, things like RV shows, RV sales, campground reservations. All of these searches are up 120% over last year. So we're seeing there's a lot of momentum going forward. What could get in the way of that? Well, a lot could get in the way of that. But overall, we feel like everything's moving in the right direction. It just may not be at the same pace that we're used to for the last couple of years.
Either
Kevin,
you
do
other
you-
guys care to kick in on that?
I was just going to ask Kevin if he gets a chance to even take a nap in the winter time.
hey, when I started in this business many years ago, it was a 6-month at best market, and it's pretty much a 12-month market down here between our wonderful Northerners who come and families today. Early in the business, I didn't see the business we see today with toy haulers and families and traveling sports and all the additional uses that have come out. And we're blessed in the South. You all keep coming down here and visiting. And so when you do that, that's good for our economy. And we're blessed. Florida right now is in spite of what's just happened, is still, I want to say, moving forward and hungry. We're not locked down, and it's a good feeling. We're blessed with a guy we're probably not willing to share with the rest of us. Okay? So, we're building a wall. Sorry, maybe
Well, one thing I wanted to point out, and this is at the risk of Scott's internet connection. Scott's dealership did, it was the Larry Coker Award, and that recognized Cold Springs as the dealer of the year. Is that right?
Yeah, let me speak to that, because I'll blow Scott's horn a little bit. Scott's been in the network a long time, owns a ginormous, beautiful campground up in New Hampshire with a wonderfully newly remodeled RV dealership. And frankly, until a couple of years ago, I think didn't fully take advantage of most of what Route 66 does, was a great member and kept his pledge that all of our dealers make to take care of each other's customers as they travel and operate with integrity and all that. But really, in just the last couple of years, have really started to optimize their membership and get the biggest return on investment. And it was such a dramatic turnaround. Then we asked Scott to be on our advisory board, which he just finished a 2-year term. So he added a ton of value to the rest of the network by helping us come up with strategies and tactics that are going to help everybody. So it was fitting that they win our one and only dealer award each year. We've given out several. It's a pretty prestigious list of dealerships that have won the award. Larry Coker, as you guys may or may not know, was one of the general managers at one of our dealerships in Texas, and then wanted to come and work with us and literally was our biggest ambassador for the network. And then he passed away, had an untimely death after a heart issue that he had. And we thought it was the most appropriate way to honor Larry was to give an award in his honor to the dealer who gets it. And Cold Springs and Scott, even though he doesn't have a good internet connection, he has a great dealership and he's a great member of the group.
All right. Yeah, go another step into Route 66. How many dealers or how many rooftops are you at this point?
We're just under 150 in the US, and then with our
150.
combined group and with RV Care in Canada, which I think is up to about 85 locations, it gives us kind of the biggest overall footprint in North America, the most service based. And that's the real value that these guys get. I mean, if somebody's in Sarasota or if they're in, central Wisconsin or New England, they know they can go to their local dealer and be taken care of. But it's those other 1,400 service bays in North America and those other 1,400 technicians and those other 1,400 parts stores, or not 1,400 parts stores, 300 parts stores where they can get the hard to find parts, particularly in a supply chain situation like we've all been in. The group really gives the consumer a great benefit, which of course creates a lot of repeat sales and new customers because they have something that no one else, even the big behemoth consolidators, can't offer all those locations. So it gives the small dealer an opportunity to be a mega dealer, but still own his own store, still own his own people. We kind of feel like it's the best of both worlds, sort of a buy local with all the benefits of a ginormous consolidated dealership.
Rick, I got one more kind of a generalist question that I'd like to ask all these guys.
Sure.
But you may have more. I don't know that, but
Go ahead.
you touched earlier, I think it was Steve, on consolidation. It's not done. It's the opposite, isn't it? Still picking up speed. Go ahead, any of you. Yeah.
Yeah, we talked, and again, we touched on this at the rally. I was playing golf with one of our dealers on Wednesday, and he said, I don't know if I should sell my dealership. And I said, well, a buddy of mine that's in mergers and acquisitions told me something. He said, you know what, if you want out, get out. If you want out, get out. But if you want five times multiples or 6 times multiples, then buckle down and have 5 or 6 great years. Get your 6 times multiple and keep your dealership. But commit yourself to having 5 or 6 great years. And I think that makes a lot of sense. It actually makes a little too much sense. But consolidation's not over. And we're also consolidating, meaning that we need to and want to add great independent RV dealers to the network. And we've got openings. I know we lost, over 24 great dealers, but we added 22. So, we've got probably more open, protected areas in the country than we've had in a long time. And that means opportunity. New dealers coming in and getting on board. And we found that even the new dealers, sometimes more than the older ones that were with us 17, 18 years ago, when we first were getting off the ground, those dealers are even more committed. They see the value more than maybe some of us that were in there from the start.
As far as a national trend, though, of dealer buying dealer, it's still big, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I think it'll probably slow down a little bit. A lot of this acquisition has been done with borrowed money, private equity money, and those cost of funds are going up. They're going up all over the place. So you're going to probably see less leverage buyouts and scaling maybe than you have before as the price of money goes up.
Anybody else, Mick?
Yeah, I see a big problem with consolidation. We have a dealership next door. Of course, Todd was a Route 66 dealer at the time next door to us, and he now sold to a big dealership that has like 10, 12 locations. And we're interviewing people from the dealership next door because they don't like that big type of structure. They don't treat them well as a smaller dealership that's like family. And that's, of course, what these couple people we just interviewed said, that they're used to be able to talk to the owner one-on-one, and now it's like they don't care attitude, and they restructure, and you got this big corporate thing. We got approached as a dealership to sell, and we're selling to my son. My son is taking over January 1st, and we put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears in this, and we don't want to see it destroyed.
Your son's first name?
Matt.
Okay. I didn't know that. Maybe I should pay more attention, but I did not know that. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yep.
You know, we did, so one of the questions that Rick and I chatted about prior to even this call was, you know, what is the real prognosis? What's the real opportunity if you're an independent dealer in a consolidated environment? And we are bullish about what can happen with the independent dealer that has all the resources of the big dealers by pooling our resources as a network, but continuing to be present, be in the store. We all remarked, it's kind of funny that there is a place for chains. There's a place for chain restaurants and chain hotels. But when you want to do something special, go on an anniversary or a holiday dinner or a vacation, you know, you probably don't stay at the Holiday Inn Express or eat at Applebee's. You go to that special place, and we still think that it's a big purchase. It's a big deal, and being able to come back and look the owner in the eyes, we think is a huge deal. You can see the owner on TV if you want to, but we'd rather be able to see him on the showroom floor.
Well said.
You know, a lot of times
Go ahead.
you'll have customers who shop the big box, the other operations, and we have them consistently come in and tell us that they came and purchased here because of their experience elsewhere. So we're able to offer a personal service. It's not unlike my doctor. I don't want medical care in a box. I want that personal relationship. And customers come through the door if they've shopped other places. Oftentimes when they've shopped and they come in, they're going to buy and they're going to get service from us in the future because of the experience that they have. And I think that's the real difference is, as Rob said a second ago, knowing the owner or connecting with the people who own the store and having that personal relationship and being able to rely on that personal relationship also for service.
Any topic that we didn't touch on that you guys want to before we sign off?
I just would like to say thank you to Route 66. I feel so fortunate to be affiliated with them, especially at my size versus multi-chains. If it wasn't for Route 66, boy, it would be quite a battle.
Gentlemen, thank you very much for your time.
You bet.